Okay, so we're back. This is part two. Before what we said is just the fact that someone is working is not necessarily good. Okay? We don't just want everyone to be working. Make sense? We don't just want everyone to be working. Okay? If people are working for evil reasons to serve evil ends, it's better that they don't work. Okay? People who are working as selfishly and serving themselves, okay, it is better that they don't work than that they work for the purpose of destroying others. Right? So people who stop working once they have welfare were not working to serve others anyway. So why is it bad that they are not working anymore? It's not. Okay, unless you are greedy and self-serving. So this is the truth of the situation. All right, so we're not going to be blinded by this idiotic, notion that anyone who tries to raise taxes is automatically Satan and, Nazi socialists who want to destroy the world. It's insane. Okay. So, this is the basic concept that we have here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find a way to divide the good people from the bad. Okay, so we have a test we can do to figure this out. Step 1, find their motivation for working. Step 2, isolate them into different situations to prove their motivation is accurate. Okay, 3 is allow them to continue in their work to determine their end, to determine, the end result, and discover if they're, if they are good. Okay, so step 1, find their motivation for working. Okay, so if I raise your taxes and increase welfare, and that makes you stop working, what does this mean? Covetous, jealous, and self-serving. This means you are covetous, jealous, self-serving, motivated by earning profit, serving money. So if you stop working because the welfare spending is too high, this is basically what it means about the type of person that you are. So the idea that the kinds of people who would stop working if we increase welfare spending are already evil. We don't want these people to be working anyway. So we're not losing anything by having these people stop working. It's actually better for us if they don't work, because the kinds of things that they're doing is selling us, these drugs and selling us on these things that don't actually improve our lives. Okay, so the kinds of people that become demotivated if you increase their taxes and increase welfare, these people are inherently evil already. Okay. So isolate them into different situations to prove their motivation is accurate. Okay, so if I cut welfare and reduce your taxes, does that make you work more or less? Okay, so this is a very good test. Okay, if I reduce taxes and cut welfare, okay, the people who are working for good will be less motivated to work because they are not convinced that their income is going to help the poor and the sick. Okay, so if we increase welfare spending and raise taxes and more people start working, this is an indication that we have a very good population of people. Okay, if we cut welfare taxes, reduce everyone's taxes, this means my work is no longer to help the needy, my work is only to serve myself. So the kinds of people who work harder and are more motivated in these situations are inherently evil. Okay, inherently evil people work more when they know that no one else is benefiting from their work. Okay, so inherently evil people will work more when they know no one else is benefiting from their work. So what does this mean? If I'm trying to motivate people to work, and I say, let's cut welfare and reduce taxes, this might make them work more. This means that in my personal experience, when I was in a situation, when my work was only helping me, it motivated me to work more. Okay, so the kinds of people who think this policy will motivate people to work more, okay, are completely selfish. Okay, and believe everyone on earth is equally so. Okay, so if you're motivated to work by taking your money away from the poor and giving more of it to yourself, it's like the poor aren't getting my money anymore. Now I can go work harder because I know the poor aren't getting my money. This is like, who is that? Okay, yay, the poor aren't getting my money. Now I'm more motivated to work. It's insane. Okay, these kinds of people that are motivated by less money going to the poor are inherently evil. Okay, the next thing is we allow them to continue in their work to determine the end result and discover if they're good or bad. So what is, so I observe someone working for, several decades and see what their goal is. Okay, so what happens is, I earn 500 profit, and then I earn 500 profit, and then I earn 500 profit. And this continues ... until I have like 3 million. And then I buy another company and continue. Okay, so what this, eventually, I own 30 companies and still making profit. So now I can own, 500 companies. I have 200 billion net worth. Okay, so I'm telling you, these people actually believe that they are helping others by earning money. Why? Welfare taxes, spending on welfare. So he says, I earned, 20 billion, but I paid 50 billion in taxes, and I funded all these programs for the poor, so who's really that bad, right? So you allow them to continue in their work, and you can see that the only thing that their work leads to is always, okay, their work only leads to more money for themselves continuously, and it never stops. Okay, worshipping money, worshipping profit, worshipping self. So this is the behavior of our current president. He's done this continuously for about 40 years. So it makes sense, it stands to reason that he would assume, because of his own personality, okay, that cutting welfare and reducing taxes would motivate people to work more, because that's how he is himself, is he wants to work for himself, and if he thinks other people aren't benefiting from his work, he becomes more motivated to work. So it stands to reason that Trump would believe that this sort of policy would motivate people to work more. The only people this motivates to work more are the people who are only working to serve themselves and not others. Okay, so these people are inherently, according to the Bible, okay, inherently evil. Okay, so it stands to reason, as I said, the person who is entirely motivated by profit, believes people are more motivated to work when you cut welfare and reduce their taxes, and now they're going to work more. Here's what I say. I saw a poll, about 1 year ago that said 70% of Americans approved of increased taxes and more spending on welfare programs. 70% of Americans said more spending on welfare, increased taxes, would motivate them to work more. They were asking higher taxes, more spending on welfare. 70% of Americans said this was good. Right? So here comes Trump. And he says, Democrats are Nazis. More taxes is Satan, to fund Satan's army. Less taxes, and more money for you is better. So what is this based in? What do we hear? Where have we ever heard this? This makes no sense. It's not based on any, there's no text in the Bible anywhere that says this is true. Democrats are Nazis, more taxes is Satan to fund Satan's army, less taxes is more money for you and better. So Satan wants your money, so this is kind of what Trump says, Satan wants your money, pay higher taxes. Dems want tax, to fund, left-wing radical agenda. Cut welfare, and give trillions to wealthy instead. So this is basically what Trump said. What is evil is when the Democrats want higher taxes and increases to welfare. What is good is somehow when Trump wants, to give trillions to the wealthy in tax breaks and then cut welfare to the poor. Somehow we've convinced ourselves in our minds that this is actually good and true. That makes no logical sense.